Very good evening, and it's a long time. This is Paul. Welcome to my channel, which is Royal Bangalore Food. It's been quite a while that I've gone live on YouTube. It's just that I was trying to do multiples of things, trying to get out of YouTube for a while just to understand whether YouTube's catching up. So here we are. Today we're going to talk about very simple about Cloud Kitchen and your restaurant, or it could be your quick service restaurants, what you call it as QSR, but how to plan your menu and how to develop the menu to keep it steady, to keep it standardized, to keep it qualitative in terms of costing, in terms of portion, and in terms of understanding what customers require, what market is requiring, and how do you align yourself to keep it very simple and also to understand whether really customers are looking forward for such kind of food or the dish or the menu that you're going to plan. Sometimes you never know because most of the entrepreneurs currently in food market in India, I would see, especially in South India, is they have enough of confidence that saying that my mom used to cook this style and I would go ahead and do so. Many fail to understand, probably 100% fail to understand that if you're doing a large scale, even if it's a restaurant, right, you need to cook minimum of close to 10 and above kg to go ahead, which means a lot of standardization in terms of your ingredients is concerned has to be portion driven. It has to be measured predominantly and also hygienic, and same time you don't waste time cooking such a large pot of food, and it takes time, right? So that timing is what is important today, and we're going to look at it quickly. We're not going to digress anywhere else. In case if I digress, I would just come back. But I'm here. Am I? Why am I talking about it? Just a quick brief. And as I said, my name is Paul. Last three years, I've been in this industry to understand how exactly to plan for for various other things. So my background is coming from an industrial catering. We were catering to a larger corporate which was making Apple iPhones in Bangalore, and a company called Vistron, and we did it almost for a year and a half, and we had to pull it out for various other reasons in terms of various other things in terms of the opportunity that we missed, in terms of how we could have standardized it, how we could have made much better qualitative, but not having enough of people. So that's another segment. And probably also before that, and after that, probably I was also a consultant. I was also into a cloud kitchen concept, helping my other friends and families to go ahead and set up some restaurants. That's my background about food. And also predominantly, I also have a little bit of experience, tiny, miny experience of about food technology in terms of how you can standardize food, how you can make it hygienic. It was a technology called Retort. So I've had stint on that as well, and also into food manufacturing setups in terms of how you can do co-manufacturing, various other subjects. So predominantly into food, and food has been my passion, and I really love food, and I really wanted to build this brand. So please stick with me, and if you could made it till the deep end, I'll appreciate to go ahead and like and subscribe and hit that bell notification, ton to keep you aware. So moving on, I will be doing this particular video every day, and also please watch my shorts. I'm also at Instagram and many other social media. On Instagram is the underscore Royal Bangalore Food, all one word. So not wasting further ado, let's begin. Today's session is very clear about, I spoke about, it's about menu planning and development. Now, many have thoughts and many have doubts and many have apprehensions. You have a lot of ideas in your mind. It takes one step above and one notch above to go ahead and launch. Now, this is the fifth episode. I've spoken enough on Cloud Kitchen concept. We're doing a whole course, whole segment to understand how important Cloud Kitchen and restaurant business and make it a brand. Now, that's the whole idea. I am here to teach you, or probably to help you, to consult you, to go ahead and launch that along with me. I'm also passionate. So I'm also looking for a co-founder. So in case if you're looking at some kind of really viable to understand the food segment, you can rope me in, and I can rope you in. That's the whole idea, because it's going to be kind of parody, because not everybody understands food business. We have seen many businesses come and go, specifically in Facebook. I'm part of a lot of groups. I keep seeing that after 6 months, probably not even 6 months, 3 months, they come with a bang and they just go for a toss, and they go under severe loss in terms of manpower, specifically not aligning the food what the customers wanted. Okay. Since I'm in Bangalore, Bangalore is also filled with many other business varieties in terms of food, street food, diners, restaurants, uh, fine dining, for four-star restaurants, and also many cloud kitchens brand. I mean, to name a few, immediately I could think about Mani's Biryani, R&R Biryani. We have Biggie Burgers. We have a lot of burger joints. We have food truck businesses. They all sustain. But COVID taught us a lot of things which has to be, programmed well for the future. That's when I've also spoken about research and development, how important and sacrosanct it is to launch a brand and take it to the corners of India, probably corners of your state, and then going and abroad, and then literally going, on a franchising model. Because today in India, we lack many things. We have not even there. I mean, I had a very good, understanding about to understand Rameshwaram Cafe. Wow. I mean, so I mean, where do we start with? Fantastic laid out business model. I mean, so to speak, it had developed through a podcast through Nikhil Kamat's show, where Sujit from Udan had just revealed saying that they're doing about 4.5 crores. That turned out to be huge galore of marketing, organic marketing for Rameshwaram Cafe. And I happen to see even Divya talking to one of the podcaster there in the YouTube channel, and to understand how what sacrifices they went through to create that brand. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, not wasting further time, let's delve upon today how important is menu planning. Okay. So first, to understand what's the first point. The first point is that you have to understand the customer preferences and the trends. Now, what am I saying that? See, if you're in South India, you can leverage on 3, 4 varieties of food that you can immensely blindly you can go ahead and launch. One is the biryani aspects. The second thing is that the meals aspect, right? So everybody like to consume meals. It could be a non-veg, seafood, a vegetarian, or in fact, this has gone even on a vegan style. People consume mushroom as part of the biryanis, right? So you have to understand the customer preferences and the trend. Why am I saying mushroom biryani? Suddenly, it's a completely of 2 years of genre of mushroom biryani, which has been trending in Bangalore, all over the south of Bangalore, because the south of Bangalore is predominantly the vegetarian eaters. So the mushroom biryani has gone way above notch. I was really startling to hear in terms of the sales figures concerned per day. They're doing round about 30 to 40,000, maximum 40,000 rupees per day. So even if you do 200, what do you call it, 200 portions of sales, that's like immense sales of, let me calculate for you. Okay. If it is 40,000, that's 1 second. Just something got stuck. Yeah. So that's about close to around 200 customers footfall to do this mushroom biryani, to eat this mushroom biryani. They also sell the other kebabs, part of it, all made up of mushrooms, right? So that there's a trend which has been building on vegetarian aspects of it, and also there's a niche trend which has also been built for the vegan community. So today we saw MSD, Dhoni is also on the plant-based food. Virat Kohli has already been launching many other brands. Today we heard Rahane, another guy coming in. We have KL Rahul also invested. We have a lot of celebrities from the Bollywood have invested. So we see a lot of trend built on the vegan aspects of the food, right? So that's another trend just catching up. But having said that, predominantly, if you want to build a brand, you have to choose a food which can sustain on a longer duration. Because understand, vegan is a very still a niche community. Even in the, just to give you another history background, India has always been a predominantly a vegetarian eating nation, and the non-vegetarian has always been there, but slowly and steadily caught up only in North India. But otherwise, North India is full of vegetarians, and the South we see completely a starkling of seafood and non-vegetarians as well. So there's a huge debate what we think in terms of customer preferences concerned. It's always better that you go to your drawing board, sit with your team that you've hired, or probably with your the close knit of top management. It could be co-founders, it could be your chef, to analyze what are the customer preferences and to look at the strengths. You can always read a lot of reports from Zomato, from Swiggy, and there's also a lot of reports comes from the from your restaurants. A lot of magazines that you can read. You can look at the trend which has been building up probably for the next 2 years, right? So look at the travelers, because today, for me, being a Bangalorean, it's always startling to see, you don't get the right qualitative hygienic food even in the train. Even when you probably go to a railway station or a bus station, it's you cannot eat that food while you're traveling, because it will just loosen your gut and you would have a bad journey. So people are really difficult to find such kind of food qualitative. So what I'm trying to say, it's a huge need or a request from a lot of customers or travelers who also do interstate transport by using their own personal car or buses. So there again, and I'm also talking about people who are trekking, people who do a lot of resorts, people do. So there's so many constitute of preferences that people can actually identify the target market, and then you can narrow it down. So that is customer preferences. It all Why am I telling you this? Because it helps you to design your menu according to the requests what people have made. Now, for example, let's keep it Rameshwaram Cafe as one of the startling case study what I've heard from Divya as well as from a lot of people, and the Rameshwaram Cafe itself. I'd been to the Whitefield, so I know I could relate to it. But then again, what did they do different, right? They've done fantastically many things fantastically well. One is that maintain the qualitative and standardization of the idli vada dosa. They've kept the price on a higher side comparatively to other vendors. Okay, they're trying to beat the in and around Udupis or so-called the Persian restaurants. Just a moment, yeah, who was serving same the idli vada dosas. What they have done also right is that they are open almost 24 hours till 1 o'clock. They open by 7 o'clock. They till 1 or 2 in the night. They're open, which means that the food is available all the time. All the time the food is made fresh. Okay, so which means that they've understood the importance of food science, right? They've kept the menu very short and sweet, not massively. They only concentrate on South India. No Chinese, no other cuisines they add. So they only concentrate on South India. And the best part is that they've added fat. They've added some unique cuisines, unique dishes like pudi. They've added ghee to most of their the ingredients. For example, if it's idli, with butter, or with ghee. With dosas, obviously with ghee and butter. They've used the absolutely right amount of fat so that people can actually thrive eating and remember what idli and dosa is all about. So you have to understand, to make a food very looking startlingly delightful, it's also how you need to design, catch up with the trend, making sure that it also addresses the customer. So Rameshwaram Cafe has done excellently well in terms of identifying what the customers needs, and they kept it very niche in terms of South India, right? So this all will happen provided you do market research, you analyze the competition, how are they going, how you can present yourself differently, and making sure that you always take the customer feedback. One of the greatest asset of Rameshwaram Cafe, when Divya had revealed in the podcast, was they look at the negative feedback. And I know a lot of good breweries in Bangalore. I know the older customers really look at the customers' negative feedback. It could be standing an hour in the line. It could be, in terms of the pricing. It could be a very lethargic saying that they've just hyped up the pricing, or just a hype which has been built as a brand. When Divya told me, told in the podcast, was they don't even did any single cost revenue spent on the marketing. It is more or less of organic, because they've chosen the high street way of looking at it, how Domino's done in Indranagar, but offset of Indranagar, not at the prime locality. They're just off the main street as well in most of the places, right? Even in the Whitefield, they are not in Kundanali or ACS layout or Marathali. They've just gone a little bit off the market and they've done it. So, which means that the parking space, they've thought completely what the customer is required. And they could kitchen team, you cashier, you take food and you serve. Best part is that it's all hygienic. So the first point is that understanding customer preferences, your trends, doing a market research, making sure that it meets what customers want, and most of all, the sacrosanct, the biblical thing of it is that you have to incorporate customer feedback as a top priority. Based on that, you go backwards. Second point is that also looking at designing a menu always meet your customer needs and preferences, which means that whenever you design your menu, it has to be under the preferences of what customer would actually end up eating and buying you all the time. There are many occasions that if really like your food, they would also parcel for their family. So such should be your delightful of food has to be created. So making sure that your menu is being rightly sized, rightly proportionally, also meets your cost aspects of it, making sure that you don't spend a lot of technological aspect. For example, coming back to Rameshwaram Cafe, the very startling thing which I heard from Divya is that they don't have freezer to store it. See, it becomes a very easy thing to say not to have a freezer, but just the importance of it, making sure that they always thrive to give the customer the best qualitative, the high qualitative. The ingredient cost is so high, so they spend enough of time. So the idli batter is always made every 1 hour or so. Just imagine, right? So every 1 hour you make it, so they prepare for the next day. You batter it up, it fluffs up, and then so you don't stock it. That's exactly what happens in any of the households. Our mothers, we never used to keep the batter in the fridge, right? It's just that now we see a lot of ID, the packed food for the convenience sake of it. People are doing well, but that cannot be converted into very good dosa. So you need to have your own unique recipes, unique IP protocol driven. For example, if it is erode idli, so you know what goes inside. It's basically castor seed. The amount of the whole urud, what we call it as, the white the full urud dal, that is more important. The idli rice, dosa rice, which comes from a certain brand, which is unpolished, to give you a nice white texture of it. So there's so many IP driven idli making or dosa making batter. So you have to identify all of these things, making sure that you've done your R&D well. I will always stress on this point: spend a lot of time on your R&D, my dear ladies and gentlemen. Please, I would request you, if you do not know how to design a menu before doing an R&D, please don't even get into the subject. Just hiring another chef on board, asking him to do idli vada dosa, and you think people will eat. No. For example, there's another brand which is getting made recently as I speak. I happen to go to this particular brand. It's called IDC, idli, dosa, and curry. Right. So great ambience. The technicality is more of an open cloud kitchen wherein you dine in as well. You can stand and eat. Is also you can order in well. They also have an online delivery, but focusing on the non-veg aspects of it. There's idli with chicken curry with three types of curry. One is white, one is a red, and one is a green. So that's their flavor of selling it up. So you might have not everybody eating non-veg, but you thrive because they're right in the outer ring road. Anybody working in the nights, they would just come in, pick up the food, and then go. So you have to narrow it down in terms of which kind of customers you're trying to target and move on. So designing your menu happens to be starting from your customers' feedback in and around market, what's going to do, how unique can you be, how difference that you can offer to a plate of customer, making sure that also it satisfies your profitability. So the important point here I'm talking about is that how to balance your profitability versus your cost, making sure at the same time the customer is satisfied, the quality, the hygiene, everything matters a lot, including your material cost, your labor cost. And with that in mind, you can always go and watch today's reel. I spoke about an e-commerce brand, what goes into how to price your point, what customer needs. So that's the basically the agenda here. So creating the menu balances your profitability. See, you have to have a profitable business model. You need to trust on that process of making that menu, saying that you're making some amount of money, not to a startling of 70% or 150% net margin, or probably post EBITDA. I'm also seeing a gross margin of good 30 to 40% on a food industry scale, right? Net, if you can go to net to 30%, zero down, that's an amazing business model. So please remember, your gross margin has to be on the higher side. Your net margin can close down anything up below than 30%. and probably a little bit above than 20%, somewhere between that angle, can actually be a good profitability model on a food industry is concerned. Whatever, cloud kitchen, QSR. So you have to work around such kind of menu. So just to give you another idea, we are living in a monsoon season, right? So if you're in Bangalore, and you would know certain vegetables really are cheaper. I mean, forget the tomato aspects of it. It's gone to rooftop of 150, and I know exactly what's the science behind it, but we're not getting into it, not getting digress, right? So we're moving towards a menu, so you know exactly how what you have to plan. You have to keep your menu in terms of season is concerned, or you're just going by Rameshwaram Cafe. See, to beat Rameshwaram Cafe, you have to go one notch above. For me, it's very clear. Use automated machines. It'll be a killer for you because you've standardized the sambar, the chutney. You can go one notch up and do something else. Probably do organic butter and organic ghee. So you never know. You never know what's going to happen because they're using Nandini, right? So you can be better than that. Probably you can use the castor seed of making idli where it soaks all the sambar. You can literally verify it. Probably you can also do a non-vegetarian kind of a salna, or a gravy which can goes along with it. That might be really green masala with idli is a killer. You trust me on this. This is a Mangalorean style. Also, you can look at the green, the shakuti, or probably you're looking at Bafat masalas. Just by not adding so much of chicken, just the flavor of it will actually hit you sales up. So that's another thing that you can look at it, right? So making sure that you keep your costs absolutely on a sacrosanct, wherein you hit your profitability model, and also making sure that customer satisfies whatever you're offering, and always analyze the cost of your ingredients, making sure that your selling price is right above. You don't always change your pricing because of tomato prices have gone up. So you need to always think about the future, probably a year ahead in terms of what's going to happen. See, analyze, as I said previously, in terms of your what's going to happen. Suddenly, you might have certain vegetables going up. So looking at a vendor freezing those pricing on certain points plus for a 6 months or so, or probably even for a year, that's a great. So you can always fix this pricing, and then you can come to a standstill to understand, hey, you know what, I would price this, yeah, dosa with chicken curry at probably 120 rupees, or maximum with 100 rupees to kickstart along with all your cost to forgo, right? And that's how the main important points. Basically, you're trying to say create a menu that can balances your profitability. If you're not profitable, if you're not doing this homework exercise, please, I would advise you, do not start your business. You just go ahead and fall, because you'll be just running helter skelter. Rameshwaram Cafe, I mean, again, just to quote Divya out here, they would end up going out of 3 o'clock when Indranagar showroom. That was the first showroom they opened, right? So 3 o'clock. What do you do? Because you sort out a lot of expenses. You understand there's a food cost. People forget there is a wastage of food. People forget that there is loads of wastage which happens. So in the menu making, your food costing has to be prioritized. It has to be the right up there in terms of how you're going to sell those product. Customers making sure that they literally lick even the last drop of sambar and chutney in case if it is rameshwar. So it has to be that good. Not that you people buy the food and just blame you, throw you, and write your feedback and just throw that plate in the dustbin. It will not happen. That's not business at all. People who are even full should be coming and eating that idli, vada, dosa, whatever food that you are, a burger. That should be the intensity of work pressure that you need to have. So making sure that you analyze all of these things and then get into the launching of the aspects. Moving on, in terms of the third aspect, special consideration, especially for the cloud kitchen menus. See, cloud kitchen and the QSR model is an amazing model. People to know that short and sweet, some unique proposition to it, it actually will always sell. Okay. When 99 varieties of dosa came down to in Bangalore, I mean, Bangalore is always known for the dosas and for the vades and for the idlis and for set dosas and rava dosas. Later, we saw cheese dosas, Szechuan. I mean, the 99 variety, in fact, they came with the bang, they also went with the bang. Right? They've actually have understood that using soya as a batter, using corn as a batter, sorry, because it's partly they saw YouTube precisely from Southeast, how they made crepes, how they made that thing, and they got inspired. And that is an horrendous way of doing it. Believe me, ladies and gentlemen, if you're trying to do South Indian, stick to the authenticity of your food making. Only then the menu will sell, the food will sell. Okay, otherwise you're just going to shut down because I'm not that keen to have Szechuan dosa along with chutney and the sambar which I give. Okay, if it is idli, is always with good sambar or a good chutney, like how Brahmin's cafe self. So that's how it's supposed to be. You cannot have Szechuan and a dosa and with chutney and with sambar. It's like no go. Okay, so keep that in mind. So do not mix culture. Even if you do so, have some authenticity to go ahead and analyze whether this will sell. Please back off your mind on the cloud kitchen concept. Keep the menu as strict as low as to 10 items as possible. This will give you an immense pleasure to work around because always the time you cook, you'll be learning in terms of, for example, when McDonald's came to India, okay, when in the year of 1993, 1994, many people wouldn't know. That's when the FDI opened up to a lot of, to call the food vendors, the companies to come to India and invest in India. It was nothing but the foreign deposit investment, right? So KFC came down, McDonald's came down. So McDonald's, when they came, they had very clear to then government saying that we would get all our items from wherever they source it from, right? Predominantly from US. The potatoes are from the Peru region, the Costa Rica region. That potato is what they use to make the McDonald's French fries. But the Indian government was very strict because they've identified that McDonald's is going to grow big because they're already bigger firm by then. They've done the study well. They put a rule saying that no, if you had to do, look at Gujarat and West Bengal's potatoes, work on them, teach our farmers, and then let them grow the similar and use those fries to make on your McDonald's in India. It was quite a startling decision for the McDonald's because they have not done this with any country they've launched, including US, because they've done it very well. It was here they had this apprehension. Later, what they did, they went into the ground, they spoke to the farmers, they did a very good food science, they understood what kind of how the potatoes food technology is grown. They sat with them, they educated them, they walked around with them, the farming was done. Then it's all history. What happened to McDonald's in India? Then we saw McD coming up, then we see paneer, then we saw vegetarian potatoes, all used from this part of the region. So, my dear ladies and gentlemen, please understand when you do a cloud kitchen, please get back to your drawing board on your research and development. I would say again and again and again, I would never die saying that because if you do not do this, you will not be able to grow as a brand. We have to set the processes right of understanding. So, considering it takes time, it takes food to be delivered, you need to know how soon you're going to deliver this food, right? Let's say if it's Rameshwaram Cafe, why people stock up? Because they serve the best idli vada dosa as of now in comparison to MTR, Veena stores, Brahmin's Cafe. Brahmin's Cafe is only one. MTR hardly now three to four locations, not everywhere. Look at Rameshwaram. Last 3 years, they've grown to five locations: Indranagar, JP Nagar, Ramileshwaram. They've gone to Whitefield. Now they're going to another location here, I think, somewhere this side, to Electronic City, probably also looking at the other states. So that is when, as they've understood, they've identified the target market. They're just going bonkers, exploring their entire footfalls, right? So Cloud Kitchen allows you to do so. Making sure that you design the menus, concentration for the Cloud Kitchen, keep the menu short as much as probably 10, maximum 15, and making sure that the food is delivered within span of 5 to 10 minutes of time, not more than that. Moving on. To help you to understand how we can develop the menu, it's sacrosanct, it's biblical. I would say I use this word adjectives as and when because the technology plays a lot of roles, right? So today, I'll give you a small example. Uh, let's say masala dosa, right? So today, a masala means it is not the potato smash or it's not the batter, the idli or dosa batter which goes inside. It's the red color chutney which comes inside a masala. That is what it's called masala dosa. That itself has around six ingredients. The main thing is garlic, your cumin seeds, your bediki chili, which is really expensive, some kind of tamarind, a whole lot of sea salt, and obviously a very good, probably your hing or something else, which can go inside, roasted, toasted, and then make a smash out of it. And then that's when your masala comes in the picture. But look at MTR. On the contrary, you have a green masalas. They've used green chili because looking at the cost of the bedigi, even then the red chili, so-called the Kashmiri chilies, they've gone with the green chilies. They've used green chili. So look at Benle dosa, the Dharwad dosa. They don't even use any masala. It's just slight few garlic and the red chilies. That's about it, right? So depends what kind of masala you want to do. So what I'm saying is that if a chef comes and says, he sits with you and says, I will do this masala dosa in this way. This is what it is. Many chefs here, I mean, I'm not blaming them, but I'm also letting every entrepreneur who wants to start, you have to make a note of few things which has been there from the history, that not all cook or chef can become a good businessman. Not all the chef and cooks have businesses who have made brands into it. There are cooks and chefs, they have their own restaurants, but it's difficult for them to go ahead and scale up. Scaling up is always comes with the passion in terms of what you exactly want to do. Look at KFC, look at McDonald's, look at Burger Kings, your Popeyes, your, even for the matter of fact, MTR. They were not cooks. People came in MTR with all brothers who started off understanding how to serve the Udupi, best Udupi in Bangalore, right? So there are many stories. Saruna Bhavan, Dr. Idli's, looking at Paragon in Kerala. We have so many brands coming into the understanding of how to give your food. All these guys did it in terms of the mind, in terms just throw the masalas. But here it is the technology driven, coming from the KFCs, Burger Kings, especially with McDonald's, KFCs. They've identified the top 10 herbs which goes inside of making that KFC chicken, the roast chicken, the fried chicken, the Kentucky fried chicken, right? So using incorporating technology in your menu planning is like having another right hand of your without even chef, you can actually run the show by using this. So today we have a lot of software companies like Paid Puja, you have Urban Piper, you have Darwin, you have so many other companies who gives you recipe management in the software. Depends, what is being sold, what is being added. You can feed in your recipes in terms of portion wise and in the cost. That will also help you inventory management to understand how's your cost is going, how much is your sales versus what are you spending from the store to your kitchen. So many things can be mapped. It gives you analytics, it gives you reports, it gives you daily sale report. It comes to your phone. It can also handle your online delivery system, online what do you call it, the management system, the ordering OMS, what do you call it as. Then also the cloud kitchen concept to understand. So, and plus your QSR model. So having a technology incorporation to your cloud kitchen, to your restaurants is more important than anything else. Okay, one is your understanding your design, your R&D, corporation, I mean incorporating of your right choices of food that goes inside. Then comes your technology. Without technology to identify what sells more, you can, now that you have online players, you have to always run some kind of offers. Technology will help you, the software will help you identify which is your top five items, selling items. See how you can have customer loyalty in terms of not spending a lot of organic ads. In comes to Rameshwaram Cafe, they've gone literally in a traditional method. They've used a billing system, but since the menu is also pretty small, still the reports will show you how many idlis sold, how many dosa sold. Based on that, you can actually go back to your drawing board and reduce the batter making. Depends which day of the thing people normally they say. There's a lovely report which I read recently that I think from Zomato, it is of an interest or forgetting it. Anyways, if you remember, please put it down in the comment section. It was very clear that they said only on Thursdays, many South Indians, specifically in Bangalore, they call in or they order in food. I don't know what on Thursdays. Predominantly, we thought on Fridays, but Thursdays is that post midweek and you're trying to hit a weekend, and probably Friday it's going to be a lot of party and happening in the office now that everybody's gone back to the work post COVID. I think one of the reasons people order in food Thursday, it's also kind of hitting a weekend. I mean, my understanding, my purview, but I could be wrong. So if you have any better answers, always leave a comments below. Just a moment, please. Yeah. So your data management systems, identifying what's your popular menu, how to reduce waste, and optimizing your inventory. As I said, inventory management plays a secret game here, which people really fail to forget. Having a store man or a store boy or a storekeeper, you need not have it. The kitchen team will actually know exactly how to pick it up. You just measure it. The main thing that you require is your technology and a weighing scale. Many fail to have a weighing scale in the kitchen, thermometer, the clock, the stopwatch. These are the main points which will help you to develop a fantastic brand. These are the processes or the systems that you put in place, reducing your manpower costs, in turn giving the better pricing to your customers. making sure that your profitability hits rooftop, at least on an average of not 5 crores, but at least 2 crores per month. It's a great addition for your sales of Cloud Kitchen. The last but not least is also about the cost inputs. Menu planning and development can cost you, especially when you buy technology or software or manpower to do this up. As a startup owner, start learning through YouTube. Always, I would suggest you can always reach out to me in terms of your consulting is concerned. If you really want that helping hand, uh, yes, I would charge you for it as a consultation, but I will also give you all my informations and this particular informations and briefings in terms of the costings, where you procure. See, procurement becomes another great asset to keep your cost low and also to reduce your wastage, right? Because you need to know such kind of vendor. Now, I mean, off late, I was just watching this fantastic biryani company. I would not name them. It is in North India. That's all I can tell you, that the chef is a cook. Probably they're not even a brand, let me tell you. They're just a zamana guys, old guys. He startling of kind of a feedback or a benefit. What they do was they source their mutton from 7 different varieties of vendors. I just couldn't fathom in terms of why they would do so. I mean, they had given the specifications. I needed a certain age. It's always a lamb. See, again, food has many signs towards it. It's about nature. It's about water. It's about the food that you feed to that particular animal, or that to that lamb or a sheep, or so on and so forth. It matters, because that is when you slaughter and when you cook the juices. I mean, I also heard another thing. Yeah, this man said, I don't know why this new generation wanted without bones, all wanted boneless. Without bone, how would you get calcium? Absolutely bang on. So, same time when you cook or you research or you try to put a menu in place, please look up 360 degrees. Why is that you need to do this? Why you need to cook a biryani with the bone? Why you have to use certain kinds of different varieties of food, sometimes to enhance your flavors, right? So this is when vendor procurement comes into picture. So I will be also talking about it in the future to give you exact precise picture, what to measure, how to measure, where to buy in Bangalore. Probably you're looking at, there are a lot of pan Indian players here in Bangalore alone. You have Metro, you have Big Bazaar, you have Food Hall, you have Udan, you have Big Basket, Ninja Cart. Everybody is into this, B2B so called groceries and freshies, vegetables and meats and so on and so forth. How do you utilize them to cook, to make sure that you get the right ingredients is another discussion. So today was all about menu planning, and today was all about understanding how you develop a very profitable menu. So I hope it really did well to you. You've understood. If not, please drop in your comment section, your questions. I'll be more than happy to help you. As I said, if you made it this deep end, I'll request you to go ahead and leave that like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. We'll go live and also watch my other YouTube videos and shorts to keep you in the loop, to understand how to build a brand in terms of the food aspect is concerned. That's been my passion, and I really want to do this, and I will do this very soon. I will also talk about in my other videos that I'm launching 2 products, and I'll keep that until I do all my paperwork. I'll come back to you. I'll explain how you and me can go ahead and launch this particular brand and create this as a brand and take it to the market and then sell and probably take it to the global level. So stick on. I'll appreciate. Thanks for watching. And it's been an absolute pleasure to host and give you share this information of Cloud Kitchen. As I said, in case you like, just go ahead and hit that like. Until then, thanks for subscribing. Really appreciate it. Thank you for the patience. This is Paul signing off. Take care. Cheers. Bye bye.